Good morning. I am extremely excited to be getting to moderate this. My name is Matt Swift. I'm the VP of Client Partnerships here at Zeta Global. I am joined today by three wonderful partners of ours. Prebil, who leads the Movable Ink product marketing, particularly specializing in their DaVinci product. Kayla Brown, Director of Lifecycle Marketing at Hibbett, and Haggard, who is the VP of Marketing Innovation at Synchrony. And Kayla and Kelly, I'm going to start with you two. What initially sparked your interest in using AI for personalization in your companies?
Yeah, I can take that one first. So a big thing for us was relevancy in the inbox. We're constantly competing against hundreds of retailers, and we needed a way to really stand out, especially as segmentation grew more stale. We needed to find a different way to appeal to our customers. And another big thing was bandwidth. We needed a way to automate things. We have a very small but mighty team, and we needed to make it easier for the team to execute and strategize.
Kelly?
For us, responsible AI has been a part of what we've been doing for about a decade now. There's a lot we know about our customers, but how we can take that data and elevate out the experience has been a focus to just create a hyper-personalized journey for those customers. We view AI as a partner here at Synchrony, which we still say human-led, and AI as a partner to the work that we do.
TJ, AI is obviously such a big part of the DaVinci product that you guys are launching, and it's a big part of everything that we're doing in MarTech, obviously a huge part of what we're talking about today. How do you and Movable Ink see AI in the MarTech stack?
Yeah, it's a great question, and what I'm seeing is that there's an evolution going on. I've been around MarTech solutions for many years, including personalization vendors and CDPs. And back 10, even 15 years ago, AI was used and has been used for a while for product recommendations, segmentation, automated anomaly detection, even offers and things like that. And what you're seeing now is a shift to agents, which is really exciting, which I think ultimately just helps them streamline the execution of that. So you can type in a chatbot and get a segment. With DaVinci, what we're seeing is, I think another thing that's really going to be telling for the future, it's like multiple models working together around a specific goal. So if people not familiar with DaVinci, it's a solution that helps companies personalize large-scale communication, such as batch email campaigns. And in order to get that right, there's actually many different decisions that need to take place, such as what content to send, when to send it, do I send it, and the subject line. And all that needs to be coordinated. And so that's great to say, but there's also a future beyond that, which is setting it up and doing it within marketing parameters, and then letting it go, the automation piece of that. So where I see is like things have evolved from you set up yourself to the agents make it much easier to eventually get to the point where it's multiple models solving a very specific business problem, and then just letting it go and monitoring the performance of it.
It's an interesting topic that you bring up too, because that automation, kind of letting it go, if you will, is a huge problem I think in a lot of industries, especially in financial services. And you think about it, Kelly. What are some of the hesitations or misconceptions that you guys have run into within Synchrony around AI and the uses?
We actually built out a responsible AI group since 2019 to start looking at our use of AI and make sure that it's aligned to all the values within our business. Today, that group is really testing, deploying, reviewing anything before we put it out in market. As financial services, it's all about safety and soundness. So we can't put anything out in market that we don't know all of the rules behind. We have to know really what that experience is going to be for the customer, and any drawbacks or potential issues that come with bringing an AI agent to life. So for us, there's a lot of testing that happens before anything ever makes it out in the real world, and it's human first. So AI is only as smart, especially in the beginning, as the inputs that are coming from a human. So what it is we think about it more as a continuous test. How are you constantly testing out the things that you're putting into market? Our employees will always be in charge of it. So it's our people, it's the brains that we have hired that are running it, and the AI agent is helping us enable it and bring it to life.
Kayla, you guys have been early adopters adopters of AI within Hibbett. So what have you guys seen within your marketplace?
Yeah, so there was a little bit of hesitation at first when we launched with DaVinci, mostly around the thought of, we have a specific strategy, we have specific products we want to market. How does automation change that? How does AI change that? Is the model going to pick things we don't want to market? Is it going to deprioritize our priorities? And what we really had to get to and just kind of come to as a company is we're feeding the model. But the model is smarter than us too, to a certain extent. So we just kind of let it do its thing, and the results proved itself. We have a very good leadership team who is all about staying first in the industry, wanting to advance technology. So there wasn't a ton of hesitation on our side. I think what also helped is we started, prior to DaVinci, we started with AI in Zeta through the AI tool that you guys have, now Athena, and using the agents there for like subject lines and testing out automating reporting and things like that. So we kind of moved slowly into it, and then we launched in the deep end with DaVinci, which was awesome.
It's interesting, you talked about some of the outcomes that you guys think about. How do you guys measure the outcomes that you're seeing with taking up with AI and DaVinci or Zeta or whoever else you're using for AI?
Yeah, so it's changed the way we look at success metrics. We're no longer looking just at open rate, click rate. We're looking at DaVinci's creative effectiveness scores, and even more than that, we're looking at what does this do for the team. So a stat that I quote quite often is it saved our email team over 7 hours a week. Just using this AI between ChatGPT, Zeta, DaVinci, creating subject lines, building emails, that 7 hours a week has allowed me to actually promote our email specialist to now a senior analyst of retention marketing. It's allowed me to grow my team, which is a success metric all in itself.
Can you talk a little bit more about that actually? Because I think it's important. A lot of people are concerned about the AI adoption and how it's going to take so many jobs, but it's actually done quite the opposite on your team. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
It has, yes. So that is always a fear. AI is going to replace humans. It's not. Instead, what we saw is, instead of focusing on execution, Paige, who's in the audience, she is now able to do strategy. So she now co-owns our loyalty program in addition to executing email, because she's not as focused on building everything and doing 5 million emails a day. It's more automated, it's more AI driven, so it's allowed for different promotions and more strategic level thinking and not execution heavy.
It's amazing. It's wonderful to hear that in this day and age. It's so big a topic. Kayla, I want to go back to the original questions. In financial services, obviously, there's a heavy emphasis placed on those measurable outcomes. So what are you guys seeing in measurable, and how are you measuring those outcomes?
It's changed the way that we set up our campaigns. So instead of putting a campaign out there and saying this campaign has performed, we look at now the individual content modules. So you're taking that those contents and tagging those, and then you're able to say, instead of being the success of the email, it's the success of the message. And then you can take that and use it across other channels. So if I know that this part of the message is something that we're getting a lot of engagement with, to be able to take that data, bring it back into our systems, and it really helps us elevate the whole omni-channel game, is to be able to have that information and action off of it. And again, feeding that whole experience of hyper-personalization for our customers is the goal. You could have an email and decide that it's their best performing email, but the reality is, if you don't know what they're clicking on, and if it's meeting the ask of the email, it may not be successful. If they're clicking just to log into your account, it could be a message that's anything versus a specific message. If they're following the call to action in the email, and it's specific wording, colors, the tone, all of that. You get that feedback, and then you can, again, apply it across all of the channels.
Can I expand a little bit on that real quick?
Please do.
I completely agree with what Kelly said, and another thing for us too is it's changed the way we're looking at testing as a whole. Before it was this test or this version 1, so we're going to disregard the other version. Now with AI, we're seeing that shouldn't be the case. There still might be this niche audience that responds to that you would think lost the test. And because they're clicking, they're doing the different things, and they're responding to it. So it's changing the way we're looking at creative. It's changing the way we're looking at results. It's just completely transforming the space.
TJ, I'm going to actually kick it back to you for a second, because AI and a lot of the testing and measurable outcomes are fundamental to a lot of the way that Movable Ink and Zeta both talk to our customers. And so how do you see Zeta and Movable Ink complementing each other in terms of personalization and those outcomes?
Yeah, it's a great question. I know Zeta's a very comprehensive platform, but I think about when it comes to personalization, you really need to think about data and the strategy and execution. And without those, you really don't have a chance of executing. But what Zeta has is this amazing data, and it's got clear intent signals. It understands what customers are interested to signal. And so that's important to start with, but how do you bring that to life into a personalized experience? At the end of the day is to make a very relevant experience for somebody that they engage with. And that sounds easy, but it's actually fairly complicated when you think about what the creative is actually supposed to represent at that moment you're engaging with somebody, whether it's an email or the website or some other channel. And so what Movable Ink has actually got 2 products. One's Studio, and then DaVinci, which we talked about, but Studio helps brands bring that data into a creative experience. So if you're talking to your own customer base and they're looking all across the country and at different stages of relationships, they're going to have very different experiences. But how do you orchestrate all that using data from Zeta into a personalized experience? And that's where Studio helps and actually builds it into a visual representation of what that should look like for each brand. And then on the DaVinci side, you can also use that data to personalize the experience and determine the creative that's going to go out for that person. But there are often situations where you may not have that signal for somebody. So DaVinci natively flushes that out and identifies what someone would be interested in with the intention of re-engaging them back into your website so that you have some signal from them and then can kind of repeat that process. So it kind of goes around a full circle, but it all starts with the data and the strategy and the needed ways and tools to execute.
In the last couple of minutes we have, I'm going to ask you guys a little bit of a broader question specifically, but as early adopters or some of the earliest adopters of AI here, I'm curious to see, where do you see AI and the adoption happening in the next 12 to 18 months? What are specific areas that you think about in terms of it? So TJ, I'll stick with you for that.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is, again, I'm using DaVinci as an example, but we've solved one business problem, and it's, there's a lot of business problems across any organization, particularly marketing, but we've got that one solved. So are there other opportunities that people will figure out ways to use AI to solve a very specific business problem? Like, let's say you want to cater a personalized experience for first-time visitors to your website that come in from particular channels. Like, how can AI solve that and scale it in a way that brands see results from it? So I would look at that, and I'm also fascinated to see what happens with these agents and the autonomous thing. I think that's still very new. People are still learning how to use those, but it certainly has a bright future.
It certainly does. Well, we like to think it does, at least. Kayla?
Yeah, for me, I think it's where AI can take reporting and take analytics insights. Right now, it's doing a fantastic job, but I'm interested to see how it continues to develop. And then also, there's all these AI tools out there, Zeta, Movable Ink, ChatGPT, all these different things. So I'm interested to see how they start to work together, and if there's any potential possibility of that in the future to kind of, obviously they're all different companies, but to see how they start to work together.
Kelly?
I'm going to call out someone in the audience, my CMO Jeff back there. The way that he worded it to me was always be curious. So do you have parts of your job that are repeatable, that you can train an agent to support you on? And then how do you take that information and activate off of it? Everybody has things in their job that are repeatable, that an agent could learn and take over. I think that leaves more opportunity for you to be thoughtful about how you take those AI agents and develop out tests, how you go into it, that always testing mentality, and take those tools and really just build something bigger and better than if you were constantly doing these rinse and repeat activities over and over again.
And don't be scared of it either.
Yeah.
To your point, like of just looking at what you're doing and automating it. Don't be scared of AI. It's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I want to thank you all for being wonderful partners of ours. I appreciate it. And thank you, TJ, especially for joining us today from Movable Ink. So
absolutely.
thank you very much.
Thank you.